Hello and welcome to the Turn 4 podcast. I am your host, Dan Maldonado. If this is your first time listening, welcome. If you're a regular listener, welcome back. Let me introduce you to my co-host. I like to call him Timmy Reikkinen, but his name is Tim Reiner. Hey, Timmy.
Hey, Dan.
How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You know what's funny is you and I live in the same general climate, but yet I'm wearing a vest and a long sleeve shirt, and you're wearing a t-shirt.
It is so hot in my office. It is Saturday afternoon, and the sun is beaming in the window, and I cannot keep the temperature regulated.
It's sunny and 21, but yet you're warm. So good for you.
Yeah, very warm.
So
much so, hold on before you go on. So much so, it's my first time wearing shorts to this podcast.
Nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, if you're watching us on YouTube, I suppose that you get the full run of this thing. So, hey, we are not insiders. We attempt to give you a fan's perspective. Tonight, Tim and I give our picks for the coming season. That is top 10 in championship standings, rookie of the year, Indy 500 pole and winner. And I think we're going to add a first-time winner in there too, right, Timmy?
I don't know. Are we? Yeah, I think we are.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Plus, you want to stick around for some news and notes on F1, NASCAR. Yes, you heard that right. And IMSA, of course. So, Timmy, did you realize this is episode 21 for us?
You know what I did? I was in the car this afternoon driving around, and I don't know why I was thinking of the show, right? Because it was coming up and I had to make sure I got home in time. And for some reason, when we posted the last show, I was like, oh, it was 20. So I knew it was 21.
Yeah. So the last show, Max Pappas, was really the milestone show at number 20. But
yeah,
as you know, that interview hit the ground very fast, very furious. But of course, we shouldn't have expected anything less. If you haven't yet listened to the Max Pappas episode, it is a treat. I
agree. He's a great guest.
Yeah.
A lot of insight. His drive to win is amazing, and it shows in the podcast. So if you want to see him, go to the YouTube channel. But if you just want to listen, go to our podcast channel.
Right. A lot of energy, a lot of emotion, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
More so than I would expect.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we got emotion out of Bob Varsha too when he was on the show.
Because Bob's great. Bob was terrific. Yeah.
He was good too.
One of our favorites.
Yeah.
This is the start of the IndyCar race week. I'm excited. Tim, it has been a long off season. Plus, I feel like, and your t-shirt and shorts notwithstanding, I feel like getting racing finally off the ground helps me feel like spring is right around the corner, especially here in the Midwest where it is 21 degrees. So I'm anxious to get into this episode. We didn't share our respective picks, which, you know, we're flying blind here. So this is the first time we lay it all open. Tim, since your picks are sure to be mostly inaccurate, I'm going to let you kick us off. Who do you have for Rookie of the Year standings?
All right, we're diving right in, right to our picks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do I have for Rookie of the Year honors?
I have Christian how you want to go.
Lundgaard.
Oh, really?
I do, and I, was going through the list of, the Defrancesco, Lott, Kirkwood, Malucas, and I landed on Christian, and I think it has to do with what he did at his one outing when he beat all of his teammates to in qualifying, and then did so in the race. But I think, having a long term season contract here with Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, I think he's going to do the best out of all of them. How about you?
Did you just before I give you the correct answer, did you go through the rest of them too and rank them?
No, I did not. I just have them listed on my sheet, so I knew who they were. So sometimes I'm forgetful, so I wanted to make sure I had everything in front of me. So
I got you.
Yeah,
that's who the year is
David
Malucas.
Really?
My Rookie of the Year is David Malucas. I think easily the top driver in this list, based on circumstances. Right? I put more faith in the Coin Racing team to continue to punch above their weight, which is what they always do. He finished second in Indy Lights last year and second in Formula Regional Americas in 2020. Never heard of that series, but nevertheless, it's where he finished. Now I'll just tell you who I think the runner-up is. and then I'll just give you a quick rundown on who the balance of that is for me, is Kyle Kirkwood. And this proves I'm totally insane. And the reason why I say that is because Kirkwood has won championships in F4 in 2017, F3 in 2018, USF 2000 in 2018, Indy Pro 2000 in 2019, and the Indy Lights champion from last year. I put him second. You know why? I'm having trouble overcoming the confidence factor with AJ Foyt Racing. And that's where
I'm surprised you put him in second because of the whole AJ Foyt situation, right? I think they're still trying to figure out their engineers, and we're a week away from the start of the season. So,
exactly. Yeah.
If I had to go second, it would be a Devlin Defrancesco, and it's based on the backing he's got from the Andretti Autosport team. And so I think his resume may not be as good as others, but I think that's my second guy. And I guess David Malucas would be third for me. So wow.
There you go. Yeah. Christian Lundgaard, I have third. Devlin, I have fourth. I want Devlin Defrancesco to prove me wrong. I want all of these guys to prove me wrong because I don't have that level of ego. I got an ego in a lot of other ways, but this isn't one of them. Devlin Defrancesco fourth, Tatiana Calderon fifth. Again, the Foyt factor. I also think she's going to have a steep learning curve, learning the circuits. I think, being a
she's not doing ovals, so she's not going to finish high up anyways. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then Kellum Ilott. And I think that's really just another situation of the circumstance, right? It's a single car team, minimal resources. I know they picked up the Carlin Racing assets. And so, but they're still just a one car team. So that's kind of where I feel like they're going to struggle. So it's interesting. You and I are way wrong on that one. So, or way far apart on that one. So
we'll see how it plays out for sure. And it's all going to start next weekend. So it'll be good.
Yeah. So for Indy 500, we're going to talk about winner and pole. And I'll kick off this section because
I'm excited about this section.
Because you already know half of this one for me, right?
I guessed at half. You've been talking about it for about the last 6 months. So I assumed who you've been talking about is your pick, but I'm interested to really hear it live on air. So go ahead and do it.
This year's Indy 500 winner won Graham Rahal.
That's the winner?
Yes. I called it a few weeks ago. Not sure I totally believe it still, but I'm sticking with it because I put it out there. Plus, I know it aggravates you a little.
You're going to fall on the sword on that one, man.
I don't care.
I don't think there's any possible way he wins it, but a wheel's going to fall off the car. They're going to have a bad pit stop. Something's going to go wrong. It's just been his luck. I'm not saying it's Graham. It's his luck over at Indy. So it would be one of my last picks, unfortunately, but I like you're sticking with it. At least you're loyal. I know that.
The part that I love the most. Yeah, exactly. The part that I love most is we'll be at Indy 500 this year, where I'll be able to look you in the eye and say, told you so.
Yep.
Not normally my style, but I'll be looking forward to it.
And we can go back to the campground and talk about it afterwards. And you can still tell me you told you so, right?
Yes.
You can still rub it in.
Exactly. I'll give you my poll and then I'll let you tell me.
All right. I thought you were going to go poll first and you went winner.
No, winner first because you already knew that one. Ready for poll?
All right. Let's see your poll position.
1, Simon Pagenaud.
Ooh, you got Simon winning the poll.
Yes.
Well, Meyer Shank has speed at Indy, so at least they do in the race. So I like the pick. The Ganassi team always seems pretty strong at Indy. So from that perspective, I thought you would have maybe had a Ganassi person in one of those spots, but you did not. You went with Meyer Shank and you went with Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, which are the two teams. Well, at least one of them we talked about, did the top 3 go to the top 5 or did it go to the top 6 when you had to talk in Errol McLaren and everybody else, but you went outside of the normal top 3 for both the pole and the winner.
That's because we don't agree on who the top 3 teams are.
I know. All right. You ready for me?
I am
ready for this. All right. So my race winner will be a 5-time champion at Indianapolis, and it's going to be Elio Castroneves in the Meyer Shank
I'm not
We'll
going to lie. I was nervous there for a second. You were going to say Rick Mears, but okay. You did your research. Appreciate
I
your
just
prep.
had a hunch, and I went through the field and I was like, you know what? They've got the race package down. Elio's got the most experience out there. Why not do 2 in a row?
Why not?
Why
I like
not?
it. He did it before, right? He won 2 in a row.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going for the winner. And for pole position, I have got second generation driver, actual third generation driver, Marco Andretti.
Wow.
Marco Andretti is going to get the pole again, like he did 2 years ago. And this time he's going to do something with it. And he may finish in the top 5.
Wow. That's bold, dude. That's bold. That's throwing it down. I dig that.
I have both Andretti Autosport sort of, right? Teams, taking Indianapolis and sweeping it. One through Meyer Shank and one through Marco Andretti and Andretti Autosport.
Wow. Well,
and I'm excited about those picks, Dan. I'm excited, and they are going to come.
I know you are.
Fingers crossed.
You worked on that one. You know what? If Elio wins that, I'll be a puddle, right? I'll be a blubbering mess if Elio wins that. A 5th this year. That'd be an unbelievable. That would really be just amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's why they have the race, and we'll see who wins it. But those are my predictions when it comes to that. I have a question for you though, before we move on to our other picks. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Indy is the biggest race of the year. Is there a second biggest race on the calendar?
Long Beach.
I get it from a fan perspective, but I mean, in terms of, I think if you win Indy, you've got a good chance of winning the championship. If you win another track, does it lead to a championship hope? See, Long Beach is
early. It's back to
it is back.
Time.
It's back to third
April.
on the race. So maybe it is. Yeah. Maybe it is Long Beach still. Even with that said,
even though Road America is hands down, according to Champ Web, right, is the
fan
favorite. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They went up against Cleveland, right?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Or is it Long Beach? They went against Long Beach.
No, it was Long Beach. Yeah, it was Long Beach.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. That's good. I like that. You spun me out with the Elio. You spun me out with the Marco Andretti pole. So
that's
good luck to Marco.
Yeah, good luck to Marco.
Oh, Marco, we love it. So now the big show, the championship standings. Tim, give us your 6th through 10th.
My 6th through 10th, starting with 6 or 10 through 6. You want me to start
10
with
through
10?
6?
All right, 10. All right. I got 10th. I got Elio coming in 10th in the championship. I think his drive at Indy is going to be amazing. I think the team will struggle a little bit like they have on some of the other circuits, but I've got him finishing 10th. I've got your Indy 500 winner finishing 9th.
Graham
in the championship. Yes, that would be Graham.
Okay.
I've got Will Power. I got him finishing I guess that would be 8th.
Okay.
And then 7th, Roman Grosjean, and rounding it out is Pato Award in the 6th position. So I've got that ranking based on going through every single race and picking a winner and looking at how it might play out. So I did my due diligence in trying to figure out where they would fall, not just pulling it out of the air. I said track by track, who's going to win. And that's where I've got these guys finishing in the championship.
Wow. You put a lot of energy into that. And we're recording this thing sooner than we normally do, right? It's Saturday afternoon.
It is.
It'll drop Monday, but wow, that's pretty good. I did not go race by race. I looked at last year's results. I looked at historical results and team.
Yeah.
And some other
I did a little bit of research that way as well. I kind of looked, but I did that a couple days prior to actually doing my picks. And then I went through and did my picks. I wanted to have a clear mind going into it. I didn't want it to be, altered by anything else that I read. So I just wanted to sort of come from my own inner self on that. So that's what I did. All right. I need to hear yours.
We have two, the same drivers in the bottom 10, right? In the 6 through 10, but they're not in the same spots. So my 10th place driver for the season is Alexander Rossi.
All right.
9. I know you're gonna need some dialogue on 9. Number 9 is Joseph Newgarden. Joseph with an F. Newgarden.
Wow. All the way in ninth?
Yes. I'll give you my rationale there before I move on. He
Okay.
has a new engineer. They haven't confirmed it, which I think is weird. Also, I think this whole talk about engineering this offseason, I think is the most they've ever talked about it, at least that I can recall. New engineer. I still think that Honda has the dominant power. And I think that he's going to struggle with that new engineer. And I think that it's just going to be difficult for him to bring that together. That's a big slip. That one's the one that I have the least amount of confidence in.
That is big.
8th place, Jack Harvey.
Nice.
Okay.
8th place, Jack Harvey.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you would have had him a little further up in the rankings, but
I might have in earlier drafts.
okay. You
Jack
lost
Harvey.
faith because you watched Sebring practice? Is that what happened?
No, not at all. Because we'll talk about that. So 7th place, Pato Award, which is your 6th place driver.
Yes.
Right. 7th place, Pato Award. 6th place for me is Will Power. And I have Will Power leading the standard or carrying the standard for Team Penske this year.
So all Penske drivers will be out of the top 10 or top 5.
Correct.
For you.
Yeah. For me.
Okay.
So that's my 10 through 6. Who do you have 5 through 1?
All right. 5th place. You got to have Ganassi in there, right? Chip Ganassi Racing. So I got Alex Palou in the 5th position.
Okay.
And I did that because I think there's going to be a hangover from last year. He was so smooth, so good all year long, drove better than Scott Dixon. And I just think you got to have that fall off. It's going to happen. So I put him in 5th. I didn't get him out of the top 5.
So you don't have him repeating?
No, I do not have him repeating. No,
neither do
unlike Elio. I have repeating. So no, I do not have him repeating. And then I have in 4th, Alexander Rossi.
Oh,
I think Rossi is going to have a great year after focusing more on IndyCar and doing less of the other things. So I think that's going to happen.
Okay.
I think they're going to make sure that it's buttoned up for the year. So I think, 4th is pretty good. In 3rd, I've got Scott Dixon.
Okay.
So I got another a Chip Ganassi car in there. And I think Scott's just Mr. Consistency. He doesn't want to get beat again in the championship hunt with his teammates. So I think he's really going to put it all out this year. And he's going to have a very good run. I have your top Chevy placing person in 2nd, which is going to be Joseph Newgarden.
Yep.
So I think they're going to come out pretty strong and they're going to do well. And so Team Penske, you can't count them out. So I got him there. And then lastly, should I go with my winner? I think you already know, right? It's going to be Colton Herta is going to win the championship this year with Andretti Autosport. He's going to get off to a great start and he's going to continue that all season long.
I like it. I
like
think
he
rationale.
Does it with 3 victories this year.
Yeah. You and I are way apart on Rossi and Newgarden. Right.
Yes,
but okay. So I'll get into this and we'll talk about it. So what's funny is you and I have these positions switched. I have Scott Dixon in 5th place.
Okay.
I have Graham Rahal in 4th place. Mr. Consistency, top 3 team in IndyCar, whether we like it or not, right? Top 3 team. I believe that. Alex Palou, 3rd place.
Okay.
You have him 5th, and you
Dixon swapped him. Yeah, we got him swapped.
Yeah. I have Roman Grosjean 2nd.
You have Grosjean 2nd?
I have Grosjean 2nd.
Wow.
And I agree with you. Colton Herta, season champ.
Wow. And we didn't talk about this at all.
No, we didn't.
Interesting.
You thought I was going to pick Graham as our season champ because I told you a couple of days ago.
I did. I said you were out of your mind. You said it was a 2nd generation driver for both the Indy 500 win and the championship. And I just figured it was Graham across the board.
Yeah.
And then my other comment was, oh, you have that much confidence in Herta was my first one. But you do on the championship run.
I do. And I agree with you. 3 wins easily. I think he's as strong as Andretti is on street courses. They obviously have that damper program figured out for street courses. I think that's right. That's an advantage for him for Detroit, for St. Pete, for Long Beach, for did I already say Detroit?
Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville.
Yep.
Which he dominated last year before he had a little bobble.
Yeah, I've got Herta winning at Long Beach, Nashville, as well as the finale in Laguna Seca.
There you go. Yeah. I think for Herta to really do something, I think he needs a little more consistency, because we talked about it in earlier shows. It's winner or no show, right? With him.
Yeah.
So he definitely needs a little more consistency, a little more that Scott Dixon sort of perspective, right? Newgarden, like I said, new engineer. Let me look at some of these. I mean, in terms of
I think they'll put that package together. I don't think they have any choice but to do that with how much they've got riding on the series and how good Penske always is. So I got to put them up there.
Yeah. I'm putting a lot of weight behind the new engineer thing with Newgarden. I think that's genuinely going to be a thing.
Okay.
I really do. I think that's genuinely going to be a thing. So there you have it. I like it. I mean, we're reasonably close. We're not that far off.
No,
I mean, we have a couple of these drivers here where we fundamentally disagree, but
yeah, you've got Graham finishing in fourth. That's a tall order, I think, for Graham.
Yeah.
He's consistently been in the top 10, but he's not been in the top 5. He's always been on that outside looking in. But maybe with the additional 2 other cars to support, maybe they'll be able to pull that off.
Yeah. I hoping this scenario that Jack and Christian can help the Ray Hall, qualifying program will help the racing program in general, because Graham has passed all kinds of cars. I think we talked about last year, right? It was Graham and Takuma Sato or whatever passed more cars than anybody. So I think that's what we're going to see, is that Graham, if they can get their qualifying program together, I think that's what's going to help Graham race a little bit better. I see, we're going to do this. Our first time winner. I have Jack Harvey as a first time winner for this year.
Well, and I've got Roman Grosjean, and you do as well. You have to.
I do too. Yeah. But I'm telling you, I'm calling out Harvey, of course, because that's, where I feel about Jack Harvey. I think he is probably going to overperform in that seat if he can keep his head together, right? Like, I think, it's like, I tell people I work with, right? You can always, and it's funny because it's appropriate here. You can lose the Indy 500 in the first lap, but you can't win it. You can lose the season championship in the first few rounds if you're trying too hard, right? Overdrive the car. You're trying to prove something. You're trying to prove you got the deal, why you deserve the deal, or whatever else it is. And I don't know that that's Jack's mentality or temperament, but that's my biggest fear with Jack, is that Jack's going to go in there and really prove I made this move because I'm capable. Yeah, you are, but you don't have to prove it, dude. Just go out there and drive, right? Drive your drive, race your race, whatever you want to say. And that's just kind of what I feel about that.
See, I don't have Ray Hall Racing winning any this year. So nobody from that team being on top of the podium, but I have Meyer Shank Racing on top of the podium twice, one with Simon and one with Elio.
Right.
But
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have either one of them in my top 10 either.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess there, if we want to do like an honorable mention here, what I would tell you is I would probably suggest that Simon will finish the season better than Elio.
Well, he could, right? He's pretty consistent. He's pretty even keel. I think Elio is a little different. If he doesn't have the best car, he may, overdrive that car. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Do we have St. Pete's coming up, right?
Yep.
Who do you think is going to win that race?
Colton Herta.
Think Colton's going to win it?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I got a couple other honorable mentions here in the top 10. I didn't know where to put them, and I wanted to put them. The one I just mentioned was Simon Pagenaud. But who do you take out? Right? Scott McLaughlin. Who do you take out?
Yeah.
right?
That is true, right?
Renus VK, top 12. He won a
Yeah.
race last year. He had that bike accident last year. I think he's got a lot of pressure on him as well. He's another one. I don't know where to put him. If we were doing top 12, he probably would have been 12th for me.
Okay. That's
But
interesting.
what would I have done with Scott and Pagenaud?
Yeah, I don't know.
You got any other honorable mentions? Anybody that you struggled, didn't know if you wanted to put them in 10th place, let's say?
Simon Pagenaud was one that I was like, does he belong in will he be in the top 10? Right. I know he belongs there, but will he be there? The other thing that kind of came to mind, will any of the rookies crack the top 10? And we don't have any of them cracking the top 10 in the championship. So
no,
that was something that I sort of considered and thought about and said, I don't know. But yeah, that was really nothing else on that front. You wonder about Felix Rosenquist, like what he might do this year, and maybe he belongs in there. But at the end of the day, if you got Pato finishing 6th, I don't know if Felix is going to outrun Pato in that car at all.
Felix has to perform, because I think this is it for him, right? If he doesn't perform, I hope they don't pull him out mid-season or anything like that. I worry about him. But new engineering at Arrow McLaren, right? Craig Hampson's coming over from Coyne, and I think he'll be the engineer directly for Felix. And the name slips me.
Yeah.
Newgarden's engineer is coming over to Arrow McLaren, and he'll be kind of that overriding technical director type deal. So see how that works.
And what about Ericsson? He could have a standout season.
He had a great year last year.
I know.
He punched above his weight, definitely. 2 wins.
Yeah.
2 wins.
So I don't have him winning at all this year, even though I thought about it.
Yep. Anxious to get the season on. So, hey, news and notes.
Let's do it.
Starting with IndyCar. We're an IndyCar Forward podcast, right? IndyCar is still in search of a third engine manufacturer. Timmy, have you heard this before?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, we've been hearing
so
it
much
years,
so
right?
I want them to talk about chassis and not engines.
Right? Yeah, so do I. Yeah, as you know, this chassis is not my favorite. We've talked here that Toyota is the likeliest candidate. I still believe that. And I've also said here that they make sense given Penske's dealership ties to the brand. Marshall Pruitt had a terrific article with a plausible plan for Toyota to join the series, although not necessarily with the Toyota brand. Marshall suggests that the branding could be Toyota Gazoo Racing, which I know that they have this sort of sub-brand, Gazoo, Gazoo. I don't know much about it, but I do know it, or I would suspect it could be part of a broader strategy to add some specialty vehicles on the streets with the existing Toyota lineup, similar to like the V Series at Cadillac or M Series with BMW. I still think it'll happen. I think that the most likeliest place for that to be announced would be May, Indianapolis. But I also think it's a 24 play, because I don't think they would be in time for 23 unless they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And I don't know how you keep it that quiet. What are your things?
Yeah, I thought if it was happening, I figured it would have been announced by now.
Right.
I just feel like it's been dragged out way too long. I think they're still just, looking, and I don't want to say hoping, but looking, and hopefully someone will come through. But I think it's still most likely Toyota. Gazoo, I haven't really heard of. I heard of kazoos, right? The little instrument you play. And that's all I can think of when I see it. But I don't know. I think you got to look to Volkswagen to get in the series, and not as Volkswagen, but some brand of Volkswagen. That would be, I think, a good play for the series.
Maybe it doesn't fit Volkswagen's brand evolution in the United States. They're going electric.
Everybody's going electric.
Yeah, but VW, it doesn't make any sense for VW to do that, especially with the rumors that Volkswagen's going to Formula One. It wouldn't make any sense at all to do another ICE racing series in the US.
All right. Well, that would be my vote.
We had testing last week at Sebring. You know what the significance of that is? Nothing.
It didn't impact your choices.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Maybe a shakedown, or, for those joining new teams, something, just to get out there and dust the, get the rust off and meet your new team, or, whatever else it is. I don't think it means anything. The circuit doesn't translate to any of the upcoming circuits on the calendar. Maybe street course, but not exactly. It is bumpy. So maybe that helps with like a Nashville or Detroit or maybe St. Pete. Nonetheless, Hertamania 2.0 future champion was fastest on day 1, with Simon Pagenaud posting best time on day 2. We did have a Roman Grosjean sighting as the fastest time in day 1 as well. Again, what does this mean? Nothing. We don't know what they were running. We don't know what they were doing. We don't know what they were simulating. We don't know what the program was. So nonetheless, that's what's happening.
Yeah. And you sent me a video. I forget who the guy was, but he was talking about the testing that was going on.
David Land.
Oh, okay. So he was talking about it and how they should turn that into an event and allow people in and really turn it into something, and not just have it this test session that no one really knows about. It's not on air. No one can really, unless you're like us, you're really into the series and you're paying attention to it, because I don't think anybody really knows it's going on, it's happening. And then number 2, there's nowhere to even see any of the action or even plan a vacation around it and go down there and just check it out. Right. Almost like spring training for baseball. Yeah,
I think everybody wants to do that. I think, the part that we forget is, you got to have a broadcast partner, and maybe you could do that on Peacock because it's streaming.
Yeah, totally.
But part B to that is it's still a cost involved with getting cameras set, getting cameraman, getting cameras manned out on track and being able to do that. There's still a cost involved. I don't know. I mean, for you and I, but I don't know that the body at large is really that interested in it. And I don't think IndyCar is interested in spending the money to do that. They just ain't got it. I don't think.
Yeah.
So you picked Marco Andretti as your Indy pole winner. So that kind of stole the thunder of Marco Andretti confirmed he'll again make an attempt to qualify for the Indy 500. And I know your thoughts already. You think he's going to win the pole.
I know. It's funny. I was reading the notes after I already did all my picks, and I was like, I'm already going to cover this prior to this question even coming up.
Yes.
I think it's great for the series. I love Marco. I love the Andretti name. I think it's a big deal. And I think he's going to steal some thunder from the regular racers and take the pole.
Yeah. Like I said, I want all of these guys to prove me wrong always. Iowa got some love this week. Google and DoorDash were announced as presenting sponsors of each of the races coming up this year in Iowa. Tim, to me, this is huge. This is huge. Those are 2 big brands coming in. And then PepsiCo is kind of getting the third play on this thing, but they're also were involved in this as well.
I don't know.
That's a big deal.
Iowa doesn't do it for me, unfortunately.
I don't know why.
It just
it's a great race.
I'm gonna have to watch a little more intently this year, but it's not a weekend that I'm looking forward to, unfortunately, and I wish I was. It's July 23rd and July 24th, back-to-back days, of course. And I don't know. I guess it'll be I'm glad the sponsors are interested in it. I'm glad the sponsors are interested.
Yeah, it's got a lot of.
If there's backing from Ray Hall and Tony George, that's great too. So
can you believe that? I guess I didn't realize that they were in this as race promoters, or they're part of that promotion.
I knew the Ray Hall team was, because they did that with Hy-Vee. Wasn't that part of the whole thing? Yep. So I knew they were involved. I didn't know Tony George though. Maybe
we should go to Iowa. You want to go to Iowa?
I don't know. Can someone convince me? Send me someone convinced me on the. One of the listeners, please convince me to go to Iowa. I don't know. Isn't it always 100 degrees?
Yeah,
you got to do it at night, and then there's thunderstorms that roll through, and everything gets sort of messed up because of that. That's my perception. Hopefully, it changes here. Am I inaccurate or am I accurate?
I don't know. Seems like a lot of
That's a cop out. You do know. You do know. You just
don't know.
Want
maybe.
to admit.
I think it does need to be at night. I'll agree with you there. Is it 1,000 degrees? Yeah. Storms.
And the sun's always setting, and the storms are rolling in
the Midwest. It's summer in the Midwest. Those summer storms are always possible.
I'm glad. I don't know. I'm glad Iowa's back on the calendar.
So am I. I'm glad they're flush with sponsorship. So good for them.
Well, let's hope the fans are packed with fans.
Stands are packed with fans. I'm with you there. I
say
agree
that
with
right?
you. Yeah, it's got to make sense. So
Yeah.
What do you make of McLaren doing livery launches for both IndyCar and F1?
I actually love it.
Yes.
It brings a little drama to the liveries for IndyCar that have never been drama infused or an event. So bring some of the Formula One atmosphere into IndyCar. I think it'll do the series a whole lot of good. So there you have it. There's none in a nutshell. I think it's great. I don't know why Verizon and Will Power did not have some big announcement. Like they should have done something.
The new
really
livery
cool.
there is nice. I like that.
I know
that red to the gradient black like that. I like that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's hot. I like it. Did you see my tweet on that?
No.
You need to go look at Twitter.
I'll have to go look. Yeah.
All right.
And of course, to date, the McLaren is still my favorite F1 livery, even though Ferrari has been really giving a good run at that. But that's still the McLaren cars, even in IndyCar. I would say that I love the look of them. I'm excited to see them on track, and I like the Formula One cars as well.
Yeah, and for me, I like the Ferrari one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
It's like a throwback.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I love it. But you said it's going to look a little odd on track. So
I don't know. That one picture that we saw yesterday almost made it look more magenta than it looked red. So it's maybe it was just a bad photo.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Hey, F1, speaking of, big news last night, right? Daddy dropped a bomb out there.
Dad did, yeah.
Right? Dad, what are you doing?
Or Grandpa, one of the two,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Michael Andretti apparently has applied to the FIA to field a new team in 2024. The entry would be called Andretti Global. Again, this is huge. This is a big deal. An entirely new entry, hugely expensive, $200,000 entry, just for the right to show up, just for the right to get a garage.
$200 million.
$200 million.
Yeah.
Greens fees.
Yeah. Michael said he's ready to pay it.
Somebody's ready to pay it. And if I were putting money on it, I would say it's Gainbridge. Gainbridge's got a little sponsorship going on in F1 that Miami Gardens race.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would guess.
I just looked for tickets there.
You did?
It's off subject. Yeah.
Big money, right?
Yeah, the place is sold out. I don't think you can get a ticket for under $1,800.
Interesting. I'd still rather go to Austin because I like Austin. Not that I don't like Miami, but it's not in Miami. It's in Miami Gardens.
Yeah.
Coda's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
I would much rather go to Austin.
All right.
But I think it's a big deal. I think if they can pull it off, it would put, an 11th team on the grid.
Which they have spots for 12.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's 2 openings.
Okay. So
no one's ever in recent times, no one's put a team together because it's just so expensive to get into it because you got to pay all the shares to all the other teams you're taking money from them with all the results and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we'll see, I guess, right? Who knows what the answer is? Who knows the reason why Mario, let the cat out of the bag on that one? I don't know if that was a planned effort or if it's maybe some pressure on the FIA that they weren't getting enough energy, or maybe they were waiting and they haven't heard yet. So now they're doing a grassroots PR thing to get the FIA to, make a decision.
Yeah. When I first saw it, I started scratching my head going, did his account get hacked or is this for real? And
yeah,
I went to other news outlets to see if it was real, and they being Racer got a hold of Michael Andretti, and he confirmed. So
yeah. Hey, Red Bull, have you seen a lot of this? Red Bull is making bank. Not that they don't already, but man, oh man, they announced a couple of big time spendy sponsorships. One with Oracle and one with Bybit, a cryptocurrency. $150 million for Bybit over 3 years. And then the Oracle deal is $100 million a year for 5, allegedly. So $150 million in those 2 alone. That's not prize money, right? That exceeds by maybe 10 million the budget cap. So
Oh,
they've got it covered. I mean, they're going to start doing their engines through Red Bull engine technology or whatever they're calling it. They're going to start doing their own engines, but they're going to get $150 million a year sponsorship from just these two entities, plus whatever it is that they get, plus the what is it, the championship money, right? Which is probably $100 million anyway.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of dough.
That's a lot of dough. And let's face it, Red Bull's doing fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull's like Kleenex. You're talking about energy drinks, right?
Yeah.
It's Red Bull.
You're absolutely right.
And then finally in F1 news, Michael Massey, the much maligned race director in the center of the championship deciding race last year, gone. He was offered a role elsewhere within the FIA. He will not be the race director coming next year. Part of that release, quote, following the outcome of an investigation into the events of last year's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Motor Racing's governing body has elected to run with a new race director structure. Massey will no longer continue in his role. He's been offered another job within the FIA. Instead, starting with the preseason F1 test at Barcelona, the FIA will alternate between using WEC race director Eduardo Freitas and former DTM race director Niels Vidic. As well as changing race director, the FIA is to introduce a new virtual race control system, as well as ban direct team communications to the race director. That's a lot there. Number one, I'm going to say the problem originally we've heard is that's not a full-time team in that booth anyway. Now it's still not a full-time team in that booth, and it's two different race directors. So in terms of consistency, I don't know how you get consistency by being inconsistent.
And I was going to say the same thing. I'm not sure you get consistency by having two different people in that role at different times. You're going to get different calls unless you follow the rule book by the rules, and then maybe it will be somewhat consistent.
Yeah. The other thing I will say I think is right is the ban on direct team communication to the race director.
Yes.
I liked hearing it strictly from a fan's perspective. I thought it was interesting, right? But I didn't think it was right. And I didn't think it was necessary. And I think that was causing some unnecessary issues. So
yeah, agree.
In NASCAR news,
NASCAR made the show.
Tim, did you watch the class at the LA Coliseum?
3 laps.
You watched
that's all I could do.
3 laps more than I did.
Yeah, that's all I could do.
But my note here is, have you seen the fact that they're now tearing up the track?
Oh yeah, totally.
That's crazy, right? We're talking about we're talking about IndyCar probably doesn't have the money, the tens of thousands it would cost to put a camera crew at Sebring and stream it on Peacock. But NASCAR runs a specialty race at the Coliseum, and now they're ripping up the track.
Yeah, I thought I read somewhere it was like a $2 million gig to set it up and tear it back down, just to get the track in order and put it back to what it is, which is a field house, if you will.
Don't they do monster truck and motocross and rodeos and things at Ford Field in Detroit?
Yeah, it's on dirt
without.
But there's already a.
But you couldn't put the dirt and field turf over the top of the track?
No, not in California, my man.
Apparently not. Well, there you go. Don't assume common sense is common, but that's how I look at it. I'm a very simple man. My last NASCAR note,
so hold on. So do they go back? And
I don't know.
It all back together.
I don't know. They got $2 million in the budget apparently every year to build and tear down a track.
Hey, the track will be smooth every year. You don't have to worry about bumps and potholes and weepers. We get that at Indy.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
You watched the duels. I did not watch the duels. I didn't watch any NASCAR, but I have NASCAR in here. You watched the duels.
I did watch the duels.
What were your thoughts?
Can I just tell you what I texted you?
It's your show.
It was boring in my opinion. And I just wanted to say boring and not say anything else about it.
Yeah.
It was obviously you don't want to wreck your car because you're qualifying for the Daytona 500. You've got
Logano did.
Well, he did. He came down when the car was below him there, but and he apologized profusely to his team and did not put any of the blame on the guy that was down there because he definitely had a run and was there. It was like a ride around, see how your car handles, and maybe take a chance at the end for the victory. Other than that, nothing.
Yeah, it sounds. I haven't watched anything. I will watch some of the Daytona 500 tomorrow, I think. If that, I'll catch up on highlights and whatever else. The one thing I do want to say before we move on is the cars are hot. This next gen car is really, really sharp.
I like them. I don't love them.
I don't love them. I think of the cars in the immediate in my head that I can think of, here's the best looking ones they've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. Some of the talk on the duels was, wonder how pit stops are going to go with one lug nut. And I'm thinking to myself,
I don't know why that's complicated.
A heck of a lot easier than they were with 5.
Right.
So unless your gun gets jammed, right? But your gun can get jammed if you got 5 lug nuts. So I don't know. I was like, oh, that should be a lot easier, which it seemed like it was.
Our second favorite racing series, IMSA.
So hold on. Are you going to watch the Daytona 500?
What?
Are you going to watch the Daytona?
I'm going to
500?
try. I'm not going to commit to it, but I'm going to try. I'll do everything I can.
Yeah. All right. This airs after the Daytona 500.
It does, yeah. So Daytona 500 for us right now is tomorrow. So by the time you're listening to this, Daytona 500 will already have gone in. Yeah. I can't tell you a driver, not because I don't know one, but mostly because I don't follow it well enough to say. But I do follow it enough to say I think the Daytona 500 winner will be driving a Ford.
Really?
Yes.
And can you expand on why?
It sounds to me like from what I've read and from what I've seen on social media that Ford is very, very
fast.
Got the
strongest
this year.
Cars. Yeah. The Toyotas were catching the Fords in the second duel. Mm-hmm. They had 4 cars versus 6 or 5, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were, but they did not have enough to catch the Fords. And that's how that sort of ended up. I think the most exciting thing about Daytona 500 this year is Jacques Villeneuve running in the 500. I think from an IndyCar perspective, right? You got an Indy 500 winner in there, Formula One winner. I think it adds a little bit to the show for those of us that are just casual NASCAR watchers. And I want to see what he can do. They couldn't get the car started for the start of the race, and some throttle issue.
Misspelled his name, put the wrong championship on his uniform. There's a lot of details in the margin there that are not getting right.
Yeah.
So if that team makes it past the first pit stop, it would be a shock.
Well, they talked to Jacques. He sounded like he was glad they had the issue in the duel, of course, and they were going to get it fixed and be ready for tomorrow.
What do you think he was going to say?
I've seen,
because if you can put the thought bubble over the top of him and be like, dude, I don't know, man.
Well, then why do you show up and go and do that? I think
somebody gave him a ride. Somebody gave him money and he's out there riding.
I guess.
Good for him.
But I think at his age, if you don't think it's right, I think you sort of voice that. You're a Formula One champion, you're an Indy 500 champion. You can say whatever you want. And this goes back to the same argument we had with Scott Dixon when he was talking about how the Indy cars are slow and
fat. Yep.
Yeah.
Fat and old.
And I said, he can't say that. And what did you sell me?
Yes, he can.
Because
he's a champion.
All right.
6-time. Yeah.
All right. So I think Jacques can do the same thing.
Yep. Can I talk about IMSA now?
Yes.
Your favorite driver, Ryan Hunter-Reay, will be in the 01 Ganassi Cadillac for Sebring. This is normally the seat occupied by Scott Dixon. Speak of him. This is an unfortunate scheduling conflict with Texas. Jose Maria Lopez will be in the number 48 for Jimmy Johnson. I believe we're still waiting confirmation on plans for Kirkwood, who drives for Vassar Sullivan in that Lexus. We don't have anything there, but that's it for IMSA. We didn't have a lot of IMSA news today. We actually had more NASCAR news apparently than we thought we would.
Yeah, and I know you're excited to have Captain America in the IMSA series for that race.
The 01 Cadillac.
I knew you would be.
The 02 Cadillac's my favorite.
But just think of it. If there wasn't that conflict, he still wouldn't have a ride.
Nope. You know why?
Branding.
2 shows ago, baby. Look it up. So that's all I have for news and notes. You want to talk about our fantasy league?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Hey, we are signed up on the IndyCar app. in their fantasy league. I can't figure out how to do this. I don't really know if I can do it, but nonetheless, we're trying to pull together a Turn 4 podcast fantasy league. So if you would like to have an invite, and I'll put this in the show notes as well. If you'd like to have an invite to be part of our fantasy league, please send us an email at turn4pod@gmail.com. 4 is spelled out, turn4pod@gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us you want to be invited to our fantasy league, and we'll send you the invite on that. If we get enough interest with this, we have a few people, but it's mainly just friends of ours. If we have some interest in this, we'll try to figure out a prize package. Maybe we'll order some more merch and we'll get you out a pullover shirt or something.
Yeah. And we won't send you a bunch of promotional stuff, so don't worry about
sending
us your email. Yeah.
Yeah, won't send you anything. And that wraps up this episode of the Turn 4 podcast. Be sure to subscribe using your favorite podcast app. If you like the show and listen on Apple Podcasts, be sure to leave us a review. Engage with us on Twitter, our website, or our YouTube channel, and our Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, the newest one since Daytona 24 of Rolex.
Yeah.
Or no, the Rolex 24 of Daytona.
That's right.
I'll get it right.
All links are, of course, in the show notes. So looking forward to it. We'll catch up with you the day after the St. Pete Grand Prix. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. See you, everybody.